A family show like Bluey needs stories for all ages. With that in mind, can you identify the adult moments in the animation? One of the situations that definitely hit adults the hardest was when fans realized that Chili had been pregnant before Bluey. We see this unfold in two moments. One is when the sisters put on a performance for their parents, during which Bingo has a balloon in her belly representing a pregnancy, but it pops, implying that the life that was growing sadly did not make it and did not feel all the love that Chili and Bandit had to offer. The other moment is in the episode Rain, which ends with two rainbows, clearly indicating that the Healer family's two daughters are rainbow babies born after the loss of a child. Adults watching Bluey understood what the show was trying to convey, but kids didn't notice, and that's one of the magical elements of this series, its ability to evoke emotions subtly. You know what to do. Grab your snack, settle onto the couch, and invite the older folks to watch the 14 adult moments in Bluey. Another Cinewave is starting. Adults understand the pain of not being able to have a child, especially when that's their greatest dream. When we meet Brandy, there's a heart-wrenching scene where Chili explains that her sister cannot have children. Of course, she doesn't say outright that Brandy has fertility issues, but seeing the character on the floor, longing for her niece to be around, makes it clear that what's missing in her life is a little pup. This is yet another scene that kids didn't notice, but adults did. A feeling that is much more familiar to adults is grief, the moment in life when you lose someone dear, whether it's a relative, friend, or a beloved pet. In episode 38 of the first season, Bluey is walking down the street with Bandit when she discovers an injured bird on the sidewalk. Bandit takes the little bird to the vet, but unfortunately, the creature ends up dying, and Bluey feels terrible about it. That was probably Bluey's first experience with grief, and it's a very strong moment that resonates deeply with older viewers. One character fans thought had died is Grandpa Bob Healer. He appears in a video call in the episode Grandma's when the pups want Bandit's mom to do a silly dance move. Since then, he has only been mentioned or seen in flashbacks, but in the third season, we found out that Grandpa Bob was just traveling to India because he wanted to find himself. Perhaps we can call this an identity crisis, which is when a person needs to learn a bit more about themselves. Traveling to a place far away from what you know is one way to discover that. Would you also like an adventure in another country? Then comment with #travel so we can know! A joke that is quite adult and that only those who enjoy biology caught right away was in the episode of the Magic Asparagus. In this chapter, Bluey discovers a supposedly enchanted asparagus that can turn everyone into animals, so she orders her family to imitate various animals from around the world. In one of the transformations, the blue pup makes her family turn into peacocks, but Bandit makes a curious presentation by spreading his tail with a fan of kissing birds. Male peacocks display their tail feathers when they want to attract females, so that was quite a suggestive approach. If Bandit's dad was already a handful, Chili's dad, known as Grandpa Mort, is a dog who makes his daughter's fur stand on end. Bluey's maternal grandfather served in the Australian Army, but when he got older, he became ill and had a heart problem. In episode 29 of the second season, we experience a very adult feeling, caring for our aging parents. Chili becomes distressed about not taking care of herself, but in the end, she confesses that the reason is that she still needs her dad. This is a very adult feeling, because as our parents grow older, they become more precious, and our bond needs to be stronger. But not everything has to be sad. In Bluey, some jokes are quite adult and have a slightly heavier connotation, so to speak. In the third season, episode 5, Chili is taking an online yoga class and is in a position that leaves her butt exposed. Her two daughters appear, playing tourists and taking pictures of their mother's backside. At this point, Chili asks them not to take pictures of anyone's butt. When Bluey questions why and claims it's just a butt, Chili asks her daughter to trust her and says that doing such things is not cool at all. The next very adult moment in Bluey is actually the entire episode. In Chapter 4 of the first season, Bandit and Chili take on the identity of Daddy and Mommy Robot, where they pretend to be androids obeying their daughter's orders while working for their comfort. This episode is very special because it's an analogy to the hard work our parents do to keep a house in order, and that beyond being an obligation, it's what is worthwhile to do. The episode is quite educational and teaches us to be grateful and affectionate to those who take care of us. In the episode Stump Fest, two very adult moments happen. The first is Boulder, and the other one makes us reflect a lot. At the beginning of the chapter, we see Bandit, Stripe, and Lucky's dad about to start what they call Stump Fest. This festival involves the males using tools to remove the stumps of trees left over in the healer's backyard. When the adults explain to the pups what the Stump Festival is, Lucky's dad says that the ladies will be able to enjoy watching the sweaty males while they work, and Chili joins in the fun and likes the idea of watching that. The second adult moment is right at the end of the episode when Chili tells Bluey that Bandit and his friends also play. The pup doesn't believe it because adults don't play, but the Heeler family's mom explains that adults play in different ways. She meant that the child inside of us never goes away, and thankfully, it's that way. Indeed, the series Bluey is truly for the whole family. One of the moments that proves this the most is in episode 31 of the third season when Bingo and Bandit go to the park to play. There, the little pup finds a stuffed turtle she calls Turtle Boy. Bingo falls in love with the toy and wants to take it home, but Bandit says it's not the right thing to do because the owner must be looking for it. Just then, another pup shows up to play with the same toy, but his mom also gives the same lesson as Bandit. The episode continues for days, with the two pups hiding Turtle Boy so that the owner won't find it. In the end, they learn that you can't take something from someone just because it would be easy, even if you want it. It's an episode that teaches responsibility and proper values for the little ones. We call this being an example, and that's why Turtle Boy is on this list. And have you ever forgotten something important at the park in your city? Just don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive updates. Everyone knows that Bandit can have quite a heavy sense of humor, and some of his jokes can be offensive. One of the characters that the father of the Heeler family likes to do is the unicorn, a super annoying puppet in Chili's opinion. During the 7th episode of the 3rd season, Bluey doesn't want to go to sleep, and her parents try everything to send her to bed until Bandit shows up with his weird puppet, which Bluey loves. When the little dog asks what the unicorn likes to eat, Bandit responds, "Kids." This is definitely not a child-friendly moment, and although it's funny, it's a pretty heavy joke. A rather adult thing that happens in episode 49 of the 3rd season is the breakup between Radley and Frisky. Hold on, I know that caught you by surprise, but I'll explain. Frisky breaks off the marriage with Radley and runs away because she gets upset with him, saying he will take her to live far away. In the episode, she fights with him over the phone and later says that the wedding is no longer happening. Luckily, in the same chapter, Radley wins back his fiancée and they get married. In the episode Whale Watching, the story begins with Chili and Bandit lying in the living room of the Heeler family house. They are very tired and have headaches due to the New Year's party, which happened shortly after the Heeler family's Christmas. These are normal symptoms of a hangover, meaning someone who stayed awake all night drinking alcohol. I don't need to say that a hangover is something very adult, right? When Bluey and Bingo show up wanting to play, they both ask if Bandit is sick, and he dodges the question, saying, When Bluey and Bingo show up wanting to play, they both ask if Bandit is sick, and he says no. What adults understand is that the Heeler couple spent the whole night drunk having fun. Moreover, Bingo says that their cousin Muffin saw them dancing on the table last night. It looks like the New Year's party was really good, huh? But the little pups don't want to hear any of that and ask Bandit to serve as a boat for them to sail, which is definitely a tough task pretending to rock when you're hungover. One of the funniest and most adult moments in Bluey happens in the 1st season, episode number 14, where Bandit takes the pups out to eat, and it's during lunch that Bingo asks a question that might be inappropriate. She asks, if adults grew from babies and only adults have kids, who had the first baby? Although not speaking directly, the viewer can tell that Bandit is thinking exactly about how a baby is made and that his daughter is asking a question that leads to a topic she shouldn't be hearing at such a young age. Bluey is a show where most stories focus on the pups, but some moments aren't just for the little ones. This is how an educational cartoon is made to be enjoyed by the whole family. And if you want to keep having fun, we've picked 2 more pieces of content for you to watch. See you in the next video!